Okay, a little after 8 in the morning. This is a quick little discussion on the presidential election and the bonds and the dollar, all of which are related. Within our reports back in August, when I was doing the post-report cleanup for August, I had a bunch of data that said that Hillary Clinton would be out of the presidential race by the end of September to be replaced by a much younger man who would lose to Trump. I went ahead and put that out on Twitter on August 9th, and so it's been out there since then. Now we have the incident on 9/11 of Hillary getting a face plant into a van after her body basically gives out on her. Now the question is Hillary alive? Did she die on 9/11? It does not appear that the videos that we've got or the still pictures we've got of Hillary since 9/11 are actually her. They look to be body doubles. The women that are purported to be Hillary Clinton do not match her body. Their facial features are different. One woman is shorter, one woman is thinner. There are at least two body doubles. And then there's CGI Hillary, the computer graphic version of Hillary that's been going around and doing some of the speeches. These CGI avatars are very easy to control these days because you can set up our very smart cameras to watch somebody else's face and make the face in the CGI react as the face in reality at the source camera is doing. And all they're doing is making the muscles move and so on within the CGI. There's no transmission of the image at all. They're just using a person speaking as a reference, and then they alter the voice of that person, pump it out through the CGI, and you can't tell it's not Hillary until it starts glitching. And there's lots of glitches. Now, here's the thing. Our data sets had shown that Hillary was going to be out of the race, citing health issues by the end of September. There's a whole lot of crud in there around the 20th, 21st, 22nd, and 23rd of this month relative to bonds and the dollar and generally things economic. Now, there is a juxtaposition of those two sets. They're very tied together. So we have on one hand, we have the Hillary set over here, and then on the other hand, we have the bond problems, which leads to dollar problems set. And around this week, they start joining up. And so we'll see if I'm accurate, if the data sets were accurately interpreted, we should start seeing more and more language about fake Hillary. And we should also start seeing more and more language about the bonds crashing. And it's the bonds crashing that's the really big deal, which I'll get to in a second. Now, so the data sets show that Hillary would drop out, or be dropped out, really is how it put it. So I don't know that she's alive. I don't have any proof that she is. We've not seen her since September 11th. And she wasn't looking good then. She's looked really bad these past few months. So anyway, the data sets show that we're going to get this political hiccup in the midst of all of this bond problem. Now, I don't think that they're going to drop Hillary out of the race this week. I think it'll be very much closer to the end of September. But we're going to start seeing all the bond problems this week, and that's going to put a lot of pressure on the presidential campaign. The bond problems should really kick off on Wednesday and start rolling on through into next week. We should be getting into a situation where we'll have some temporal markers. We'll see Bitcoin go up, we'll see silver go up, we'll see gold follow silver in going up. It won't lead it. We're also going to start seeing more and more language appear now about silver shortages, investment grade silver shortages. And so, but that'll be more mainstream because it's going to be tied into all this new electric stuff, all of the solar panels, the Tesla cars, all of that business. And so we'll see some more language about that come out this week. Now, the way it seems to play out within the data is that someone will make an announcement that Hillary is out of the race near the end of September. Huge amount of, as you may expect, huge amount of brouhaha in the press globally. And so during that period of time, that's when the bonds really take this big hit and we start seeing bond rates, payout rates go up. So the yield goes up, the price goes down. And that's going to really freak out government, and it's going to really freak out the central banking system. to the point where we're going to see all kinds of statements that we would not have believed possible even 2 months ago coming out of the mouths of central bankers. They're going to try all kinds of weird stuff in a short period of time. There's going to be at least 3 major initiatives or plans put forward from the Fed or from government that we're going to discard. We're going to burn through these 3 plans over the course of the month of October. So it's going to be extremely, it's going to be extreme. The language is just going to be extreme on all these particular subjects. Everything's sort of coming to a head at this period of time. This period of time is going to last from basically a couple of days ago when we first started seeing temporal markers about Montepaschi, the Italian bank, because that's still key. The Italian banks go through Germany and the whole thing ripples over onto us. It's happening right now. It'll exhibit itself in the yield on bonds, sovereign bonds, and then corporate bonds and everything else just get whacked. And that'll be through the month of October. And then by the time we get into the early part of November, the data from August had said that the Fed would become irrelevant to our lives. That no matter what they did, it wouldn't make any difference to anybody on the planet anymore. But specifically, it was focusing on USA population as the Fed not being relevant to what we do anymore. Now, it may take months for that to finally occur, and it may be that the data was citing a point in early November that then stretches out into March, where we have our second big giant equity crash coming. And by that point, we have the Fed out. Or it may be that it happens very rapidly across the course of October, such that by November, no one gives a rat's ass about the Fed. But the impact is going to be quite severe on the dollar. So here's why we've run into some of these issues. Here's some of the concerns I've had over these past few months relative to what the data says. There's going to be all kinds of chaos politically as we kind of shuffle through to see what happens. There's going to be huge amounts of chaos economically. And so I was concerned about the economic chaos because the dollar going to take is going to have a big devaluation as a part of this bond crisis. That's why I'm raising prices. By the time we get into October, we're going to be seeing dollar purchasing power just puke itself out all over because the bonds are going to be putting pressure on the Federal Reserve and their dollar. Dollars, by the way, is defined as an actual measured amount of silver coin in the Constitution. It's said as silver and gold is money. Congress has the right to create money, nobody else. So the central bank experiment that we're about to end here over these next, say, 18 months or so is an aberration. We don't need them. They should be removed. They're causing all these problems that we're all enduring at the moment. If we got sound money and we're on a gold and silver basis, the only time you have inflation is when you actually can inflate the gold and silver supply by finding more. And so it doesn't happen all that often. Anyway, so I've probably been nattering on here far too long. But basically, I think Hillary Clinton may be dead. I can find no image that's actually her. They're body doubles or CGI. Our data sets are showing that the CGI is going to have real problems next week. Let me back up a bit. Okay, so this week we start all of the bond stuff, and we get all the political rumblings in the background. By the time we get into next week, it shifts, and the bond stuff is in the background as the political comes to the foreground, and it'll all be about missing Hillary. Where's Hillary? Where's Waldo? Where's Waldo Clinton? We got to find this woman because she's not alive, probably, but we've got to find her as the sense of it all. It comes out next week. That puts a lot of pressure on the CGI Hillary to perform. It does not. We have a big debacle, and then we have Hillary leaving the presidential race in my data sets, okay? So that's the forecast. Now, it's really, really bizarre. In this last report, it was too bizarre for me to put in there because I could not imagine such a situation ever developing, and I thought it had to be a bad interpretation. And yet, I put out the warning that Trump was going to, or not warning, the note that Trump was going to win on August 9th because Hillary would drop out on September, near the end of September. And then 9/11, we have this incident, and since then, no one's seen her. So it's a very high probability that the data was indeed correct. And if that set is correct, because of the way that it shaped up in June and July, then it tells me that we're going to be getting bond yield spikes that are going to just shock people. Most humans won't care, because they just don't understand what the bonds do and everything. But if you're in the financial business and or mess about with bonds at all, really, you will be quite shocked about the changes that are going to occur in such a very short period of time. Looks like about 65 days, really. Last 5 days of September, all of October, and then into November is when we see this bond business yields just through the roof, and competition like mad to get people to buy their bonds. And then the Federal Reserve just throwing hissy fits right and left as they run into basically the bond wall that's going to bring down the dollar. So that was why I ended up raising prices, because by the time we get into October, the measly little $15 I charge for reports won't even be buying lattes. That's it, guys. Just a quick little one. I don't know if Hillary's dead or not. I sure can't find any reason to believe that she's still alive. And there's a lot of goofiness with body doubles and CGI Hillary. I mean, it's kind of cool that they're trying to trick us with computers. You know, they think they're really sophisticated and stuff, and that we're not. But nonetheless, it's strange days. Okay, see y'all later.